just sit there and fucking hold your dick, Aaron.
Just focus on the task at hand, Aaron. I feel like I feel like there's too much going on there, but that's all right. Let's get this bad boy going. All right. We are live in 5, 4, 3. Today's episode of the Dirty Sports Podcast is brought to you by our sponsor, Joe Prano, Current. All the dirtballs and listeners of the show can download Current for free. That's the big Free at current.com/dirty sports.
Andy, what's Current?
Current, Joe Prano, is a mobile bank account that comes with a Visa debit card that has no minimum balance, no overdrafts, and no hidden fees.
Great for our young adult, college, and early 20s listeners, or me, a 40-year-old comedian. No minimums.
It gets even better. We are doing a contest with our friends at Current. Current will double the paycheck of a lucky winner who signs up right now using promo code Dirty Sports, or if they go to current.com/Dirty Sports, they can win up to $500.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Doubles the paycheck up to $500. And the other thing I saw as I was reading about Current, Andy, is that if you sign up for a premium account, you could potentially get your direct deposit days early.
2 days
That,
early.
I gotta say, in my younger days, that was something that I would have really liked.
Yeah.
There had been days where I was like, this dog food looks pretty good, and then be like, nah, I can make it till Friday. I can hold out and eat some proper food.
Yeah, so here's the deal, and then we'll get the show started. So the first 50 people who sign up using promo code Dirty Sports or current.com/Dirty Sports will get the chance to double their paycheck up to $500. Now, to qualify, this is important, you also need to switch over your paycheck to Current. So if you have direct deposit through another system or a bank account, you need to switch that over to Current. This is a legit great deal. I've been working with them all week on this contest. So, dirtballs, go ahead and do it. There's no reason not to.
I agree.
All right, let's get it started. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I am your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from the Smut Studio in Venice Beach, California, with my co-host, Joey No Chill Prano.
Great to be back, Andy.
I feel like it's been so long.
I know. I was on the road for a couple weeks. Tuggy Dimes was filling in. And now, the good old staple, the Hall of Famer, is back to reclaim his rightful position.
Not even going to mention Sean Merriman.
Sean Merriman was also here. Yeah, great job by Sean. I caught about half of Sean's interview on YouTube live. I know you guys and Tuggy Dimes was sharing some of my comments via the YouTube chat. So great job by Sean as well. So yeah, a good solid. What I like about the people who fill in for me, they're always bigger than you. Like it's been a long time since we had like Goldberg over here. Like, you guys spinning it. It's like now you got 6 foot or taller to sit in the Joe Prano seat.
I like that, and I do feel like a child.
And Sean's just massive,
dude.
It's honestly awkward that we ever put 3 people on this couch with Sean.
Oh, my God.
Just making Sean sit in the middle like, douche.
The thing about Merriman is not only is he massive, I mean, to be a defensive rookie of the year, a 3-time Pro Bowler, he really did play at the highest level, right, for a few years, which is not easy to do. So it's not like he's just some chump. When you sit next to him, you just think, this dude's a badass.
Oh, he's a badass, too, because unlike so many pro athletes across sports, like a lot of these guys from, baseball players, basketball players, football players, even like the kickers, the special teamers, a lot of these guys, within 6 months of getting out of the league, they're fat, they're out of shape, and you can tell Sean's just like literally never missed a beat.
Yeah.
And he just went into like I mean, the guy goes hard, like no doubt about it. Like the dude is jacked up.
He thusts.
He thusts hard.
He probably doesn't know what thusting is, but he is the definition of thusting. Also, I want to give a shout out to, speaking of thusting, intern Aaron has been thusting like a motherfucker. He had papers this week. He looks like he just got out of bed. He is here in the intern desk, shoeless.
Yeah. Shoeless Aaron Maharis.
He's got his Pepperdine hoodie. He's not even attempting to pick up the mic. He doesn't even want to talk today, but he is here doing it. Aaron, is this finals week for you?
It's finals season, so I got finals. The next 2 weeks. I just had a couple of final papers due yesterday that kind of fucked up the due date on, so really had to bang them out in a short amount of time.
But you're here.
But I'm here.
What does that entail? Like a bunch of Adderall and White Claws and just like getting it done?
Basically, Adderall, White Claw.
I feel like that's
very little food to not slow you down.
Like the millennial medicine cabinet. It's just like Adderall and White Claw.
And then a lot of iced coffee and water when you can.
He's drinking a claw right now.
Water when you can.
He cracked one open at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah, my time schedule's all fucked up. It might as well be.
Do you have class today?
No, classes are done. So
classes are done. You're just putting papers in and taking
studying
tests
and stuff
shit like that.
Yeah,
got it.
So,
and then how much of a break do you get when you're done with final season?
So, my last final is December 17th, and we don't start again, I think, till like January 6th. So about 3 weeks.
Good 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Nice.
Cool.
You earned it. A lot of White Claw.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's gonna be a white Christmas. A White Clawsmas.
A lot of returns, Joe Prano.
A lot of returns.
I mean, your love of Eli is probably.
Are we allowed to talk about him again? Has the I know that there was an execution. Has there been a stay of execution? I'm talking about Eli Manning. Now that he's the starting quarterback in the NFL.
I mean, I'm not expecting much. In fact, I'm coming in locked and loaded, ready to make a bet with you.
Okay.
On this game.
Well, the thing about it,
with the spread.
Are we starting with the NFL today?
No, but
okay.
we got to
start with the important news. I mean, the thing about Eli Manning, again, on this New York Giants team, I'm not expecting a lot either, for the same reason that I'm not critical of him the last few years, for the same reason that I'm not surprised that Danny Dimes got injured in his first season as the New York Giants quarterback. Their offensive line is a debacle. I watched it from the front row in person at MetLife last week. There is a lot of holes in the New York Giants organization right now. Obviously, they've got what they think is a future quarterback in Daniel Jones. I think everybody agrees Saquon Barkley is one of the most gifted running backs of all time. Their defense is atrocious. The defensive backfield is a mess. And most importantly, they have just never had the semblance of an offensive line in a long time. And that's why I said from the beginning, when people go, how do you not go to Danny Dimes? It's like, well, this is why. Because the guy has a high ankle sprain, not the kind of injury you want your mobile quarterback to have in his very first season in the league.
He's missing a game, though. It's not like he shredded his knee. Let's not be dramatic.
Right. He's missing a game right now, right? Saquon Barkley also has a high ankle sprain going on, however many weeks. And the question is, has Saquon been hurt the whole time? I don't think, while Saquon being hurt doesn't help them, he's also being hit in the backfield on 90% of his runs. But the difference between Saquon last year and Saquon this year is Saquon last year healthy has the ability to escape it. The point is, if you're the New York Giants, why do you put Daniel Jones back in next week if he's healthy?
Well, can we agree injuries happen in the NFL?
And injuries definitely happen in the NFL to quarterbacks when they're not protected.
Well, also
except to Eli Manning, who has never gotten injured.
And that's fine. But like, to me,
in the history of his career,
I don't
at any level.
And that's fine. But it's not like I know you want to come in and be like, oh, this proves my point. This proves my point.
What point? I don't even know what point you're claiming it proves. The only thing to me this says is you've put again, the guy you think who's the future of your team in a position not to succeed in any regard, not to succeed in wins and losses, not to succeed in snaps that may help him long term, not to succeed in the health wise, because I said I thought the Giants had the ability to go 8-8 this year. Obviously, I was wrong about that. But people are like, you're a fucking crazy person. Okay, if everybody believes I'm a crazy person for thinking the Giants had the ability to go 8-8 this year, then we all 100% agree that this team was not contending. So what is the purpose of putting the future of your team behind a trash offensive line?
Well, I think experience is very valuable. 1, and 2, name a quarterback who started his first year that didn't take their lumps. It's just part of the process. Guys take their lumps. I'm talking about who were drafted and started that first year.
Right.
Like if you look through the history of guys, they get beat up. They get battered.
And
they lose games. They throw interceptions.
And in the long term, is that ever necessarily proven? Like, do we have factual information that is helpful in the long term? Patrick Mahomes seems fine for sitting a year behind a veteran quarterback and coming in and winning the MVP the very next season. Aaron Rodgers certainly should have started before he did, but he certainly seems fine for having sat behind Brett Favre.
Peyton Manning turned out all right.
Yeah, Peyton Manning turned out all right. And
they went 3-13 his first year.
Yeah, Peyton Manning turned out all right. And Peyton, like, at this point, if we're going to compare quarterbacks to Peyton Manning, like, we're making a huge leap with Daniel Jones.
But
because the term one of one, the only quarterback that should be used, the term one of one should be used to describe is Peyton Manning.
No, but hold on. I just used him quickly. There's guys who've turned out fine who were drafted in the top 10 to not good teams. Matt Ryan's another example. I'm just saying there are guys, and there's also guys that got abused, took a lot of L's, both on the field, physically, and in the actual loss column, who've also turned out all right. Like, would you say Matthew Stafford? You're a Matthew Stafford guy.
Yeah.
He started right away.
Yeah, he did.
They got their ass kicked right away.
Sure. And again, it's not just a matter of losing. I don't mind losing. I don't mind having a quarterback in there and losing games for experience. What I mind is your young quarterback who you have brought in specifically because of his ability to be more mobile than your last guy, now hampered with a high ankle sprain. I go back to, again, and I know we're going to talk about it, because how do we not talk about it at this point? The Colts quarterback situation. Andrew Luck retired at 30. He's the single best quarterback prospect in the history of football, going back to Peyton Manning.
According to what, though?
According to him coming out of college. Unanimous number one, no doubt about it. He's number one. This is the thing. He's the best quarterback we've seen in college since people were talking about Elway, Peyton Manning. Like, the guys who are coming out of college and they're saying they're ready to play today. They're ready to be a franchise quarterback. They're going to be good day one. Yes, they might take losses, but they're absolutely, positively 100% ready to play game one. He retired at 30 years old. And he retired at 30 years old because he was put behind a bad offensive line and got banged the fuck up in multiple regards.
He's also an anomaly, though, as well. Most guys don't retire at 30.
Right. But we're also this is now the age of guys saying, hey, we've seen the long-term effects of being injured. I don't want to be Jim McMahon. I don't want to be fucking, Junior Seau. I don't want to be these guys who we've seen what playing a long time in the league can do to people.
Yeah.
The same thing with Calvin Johnson. The same thing. And, obviously you're looking at the two big examples being on the Detroit Lions. But if you're on a bad team and you're the star of that bad team, why do you stick around for the punishment? I don't think anybody looks at Calvin Johnson and goes, "Oh, Calvin Johnson's not a Hall of Famer because he didn't put up these numbers for X amount of years." Like, I believe Calvin Johnson will be a Hall of Famer. Barry Sanders was a Hall of Famer, is a Hall of Famer. And the thing is, like, how do you put your body through it? That's why, and I'm sorry, I disagree with my replacement co-host, Sean Merriman, in terms of the way he looked at multiple of the quarterback things that I sent through on the chat. The way he rates, like he's like, Phillip Rivers is just making terrible decisions at 38 that he's never made before, but he's not physically washed. And Eli Manning, he's out because he's physically washed. And Tom Brady, it's the TB12 method and whatever he's putting in those shakes. And it's not the fact that Bill Belichick has pretty much throughout Tom Brady's entire history made sure that that guy is well protected. Tom Brady, again, that's why he had a dad bod at the combine. Tom Brady is not some freak physical specimen. His trainer is not injecting him with whatever the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles had that made them fucking superheroes. The dude has been protected, and they have a system in place where if he's not protected, he has these little checkdowns and these little flares. The guy doesn't get hit.
Yeah, but again, you're telling me I can't use the Peyton Manning, but you're using Tom Brady in that system, which has been the best system we've ever seen, arguably in the history of the NFL. It's the same thing. Like, it's not like teams like the Giants, it's like they didn't try to protect the O-line. They made moves in the offseason.
Yeah.
They just didn't work out.
Right. Totally. And they knew that last year, and they knew that after 2 games this year. And so the thing is, okay, you got Will Hernandez. He's a great guard. He's going to be good moving forward. Okay, you've got a couple guys locked in place on the offensive line. But when you have blatant holes, for example, at left tackle, at Eli/Daniel Jones's blind side, these guys, I mean, we're going on however many years in a row where we had Eric Flowers and now Nate Solder, where you're just serving these guys up to the wolves. And I like Daniel Jones. And I was not rooting for Daniel Jones to get hurt. I was not rooting for Eli Manning to come back in. I was rooting for Eli Manning never to see the field again because Daniel Jones has success. But the bottom line is it's hard to judge exactly what Daniel Jones is or will be when the guy is getting fucking murdered. And honestly, it's hard to judge what Eli Manning has been or is now when he's getting murdered.
But again, and we got to move on, my stance on this whole situation in New York has always been they would have kept him playing if they thought that was the best chance for them to win as a team. Between the coaches, the GMs, I would assume, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, that they know the quarterback situation and their team situation better than anybody. And again, I would also go one step further and say if there was that much interest in Eli, then he would have been traded because there would have been value for him.
Well, he has a no-trade clause, and we don't know whether or not anybody attempted to trade for him, and we don't know whether or not he vetoed any potential trades, and we don't know the phone call. But
we don't. You're right.
But the bottom line is, I think that there are some teams, and again, we'll talk about the Indianapolis Colts quarterback situation and the third place Indianapolis Colts later on in the show, but maybe they didn't make a phone call about Eli. I think they're wrong. Again, and I've said it for 15 straight weeks, and I'll continue to say it.
Well,
I think they're wrong.
I would counter with, I disagree, and I'd follow it up with, I think the biggest problem with the Colts has been the kicking situation. I will say they win 3 more games if they have a decent kicker. Now, we've seen this year, decent kickers are not easy to come by. But in my opinion, they've stuck with Vinatieri, who, again, is a Hall of Famer, a legend, arguably the greatest kicker of all time. How many games has he lost them?
But again, people act like quarterbacks who are shells of their former selves haven't come in and win games with teams that are prepared to win now. Forget Peyton Manning to the Broncos. Let's set that aside. Peyton 1 of 1. Forget Peyton Manning throwing absolute ducks, unable to throw the ball downfield, taking a team with a great defense and winning the Super Bowl. Despite the fact that, again, Brock Osweiler was in there and everybody's like, look at how good Brock's doing. He beat the fucking Patriots. He's young. He has a future. But Peyton Manning almost outlasted Brock Osweiler in the league. But let's talk about Brett Favre. Remember Brett Favre to the Jets? Oh, well, this is the disaster. Brett Favre clearly washed. Brett Favre,
But I thought he had a decent year with the Jets.
But he didn't really have a decent year with the Jets. He had an okay year with the Jets, and the Jets didn't win a lot of football games, and he turned over the shit out of the ball. But then suddenly he's on the Vikings, and he's one pass away from going to the fucking Super Bowl. Because the Jets fucking stunk, and the Vikings didn't.
The Jets were, at one point, I 100% remember this. The Jets at one point in that year were 8-3. So I don't think they necessarily stunk. The Jets went 9-7 that year. He didn't have the good year. He threw 22 touchdowns and 22 interceptions.
Yeah.
3,400 yards.
And what did he do the next year?
He had a good year the next year in God, I wanted to say Green Bay. In Minnesota, he threw for 4,000 yards, 33 touchdowns, 7 interceptions.
33-7 after 22-22. So what did he do? He found the fountain of youth?
I don't think
he walked the desert of Egypt and him and fucking Indiana Jones found a waterfall that made him 10 years younger. He took HGH.
I don't think anyone's denying that obviously a better team, a better cast makes people better. No one's denying it. Look at Ryan Tannehill, who no one's talking about, which I find fascinating. Ryan Tannehill finally is in a system that works for him. They're 5-1 with him as the quarterback of the Titans. I watch all the games. I've watched all their games. He fits that system great, and he's not turning the ball over. So I'm not disagreeing. System matters 100%.
And when you say fits their system, you're saying he's not turning the ball over, he's being accurate, and Derrick Henry is losing his goddamn mind, and their defense is playing great?
But that's my point, is that he's finally in a situation that gives him the capability to maybe not have to force the ball.
Correct. Ryan Tannehill has always been able to do this. He's just been on the Dolphins. And I don't think anybody thinks that next year, sorry Titans fans, I don't think next year Ryan Tannehill's coming out and throwing for 40 touchdowns and throwing for, and having, 5,000 yards and that their game plan is going to be run the ball, play defense. Ryan Tannehill, please don't turn it over. Which, that was their strategy with Mariota, and it just didn't work out. Mariota wasn't accurate enough for them, wasn't able to not turn the ball over in the red zone. But Ryan Tannehill isn't a fucking fantastic quarterback. He's just in a system where they have a running back who's literally losing his goddamn mind, a defense that has always been solid, and they've always had a good strategy. But that's why the thing of people going like, I'll take Tannehill over Phillip Rivers, like, I still think you can get Phillip Rivers to come in and game manage a fucking running offense. You could get Eli Manning to do it. And the question becomes, if this Titans team makes the playoffs and this Titans team has to take on a Ravens team or a Patriots team, and Bill Belichick starts scheming for Derrick Henry's not just going to stiff arm guys and go down the field. Can Ryan Tannehill go to the fucking line and say, this is what they're doing. This is the play we're switching to.
Well, one, they're 5-1 with Tannehill, so I would not right now take it's working. I wouldn't say, hey, I want Phillip Rivers on my team right now. Okay. Because it's working.
Right. But again, Super Bowl or bust league, correct?
Phillip Rivers.
And Phillip Rivers doesn't have a Super Bowl, and that's fine.
But Phillip Rivers is also a gunslinger. He's a gunslinger, dude. He's not Ryan Tannehill. He can make the big plays, but he can also throw the costly interceptions. So I don't know if he can just jump right into that system. You say
I'm not saying he can jump right into that system. My point is it makes it if you look at Ryan Tannehill's career, nothing about Ryan Tannehill's career says he can jump into any system ever. So it's the system that's working, and Ryan Tannehill is just don't fuck it up.
Yeah.
And good, that's working. But you can't. I've been on a Titans bandwagon for fucking years now. I like their offensive running game. I like the way that they play defense. I like their coach. But as much as I'm on their bandwagon, I can't look at Ryan Tannehill and go, yeah, he's going to beat a Mahomes Chiefs team, a Brady, Lamar Jackson Ravens team. Like, you have to win multiple games to win the Super Bowl.
I agree.
And that's exactly what I said about Josie Brisket and the Indianapolis Colts.
But again, we also don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't like to rule things out until we see it actually happen.
Can I point something out?
Yeah.
Ryan Tannehill and Titans did beat the Chiefs at home
Right.
in Kansas City.
Yeah.
I mean, they can do it.
They could do it. Absolutely. They could do it. And a couple years ago, Marcus Mariota beat the Chiefs in a playoff game. They could do it. But the question is, could he do it 3 games in a row against the similar competition? Do you think Bill Belichick comes to the line and goes, I can't fucking mess up Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill's pre-snap reads are going to be too difficult for me.
But then this all comes back to the question of there's only a finite amount of really good quarterbacks. Just the same way with the kickers. There's only a finite amount of guys who are going to be clutch. So, like, I just don't know what you want. Like, for me, again, it's clearly working in Tennessee. I stick with Tannehill until it doesn't work.
Of course.
Right?
Of course. Yeah, no, I'm not saying replace Ryan Tannehill right now. But I'm saying if they don't win a playoff game, if you're the coach of the Titans or you're the coach of the Colts right now, you miss the playoffs or you don't win a playoff game, you're like, we're set at quarterback, Tannehill and Brissett, this is our future.
Well, again, I think you're dealing with a finite amount of really good quarterbacks.
Look at LSU. Is this not what I've said about LSU for fucking years? All the talent around them, but they never had a quarterback that elevated them. Where's A. Millie right now? Zach Mettenberg's not as bad as you think he is. I mean, he's going to the league, blah, blah. It's not about being good enough to win games with Odell and Landry and Jeremy Hill and all these guys on your team and a great defense. It's about elevating your squad.
Well, what changed LSU, let's not forget, Joe Burrow was the starting quarterback last year, and he didn't do that much. What changed LSU this year is they have a new offensive coordinator, an entirely new offensive scheme. That's what changed LSU. And not to take anything away from Joe Burrow, because obviously the new scheme has really elevated his game as well as a player, and he's going to win the Heisman. But what changed them, again, is that to me, a lot of times is an underlying theme that is missed is who's calling the plays, who's doing these things.
Of course it is.
Look at Atlanta, and I've been critical at times, but I've completely changed. I've been critical even this season earlier when I was like, oh, these guys just live off their dad's names, like the Shanahans and the Schottenheimers and whoever. Look what Shanahan's doing in San Francisco. Look what he did with Atlanta. Look at Atlanta's offense.
Who has a better chance to win the Super Bowl, the Houston Texans or the Tennessee Titans? Who has a better chance to win the Super Bowl?
To win the Super Bowl, I would probably say, because they have more weapons, the Texans.
You think the Titans have a better chance to win the Super Bowl?
I mean, it's pretty close for me.
Yeah, I do. I think their style of play has a better chance of controlling the game, and I think they'd win.
But, I like Aaron's point there, too.
Here's what I would say. The Titans have a better running game. The Titans have a better defense.
Better coach.
The Titans have a better coach. And I think the Texans have a better shot of winning the Super Bowl.
Because they have a better quarterback.
Yes. A guy that could potentially, I'm not saying he will, and I actually don't like their chances because Bill O'Brien sucks, and I stand by that. But Deshaun Watson has the ability to lose his mind. He could put 4 games together where he plays better than anybody in football. He could.
Yeah.
I don't believe Tannehill could do that. I don't think Tannehill could piece 4 games together and beat the kind of competition he would have to win the Super Bowl. Could he beat the Chiefs? Sure. Could he beat the Ravens? Sure. Could he beat the Pats? Sure. Could he beat them all? I don't think so.
But again, it's a team game.
Yeah. It's a team game. Exactly.
So
Eli Manning needed that defensive line.
Sure.
To win the Super Bowl. But they weren't winning it. Everybody loves to go, Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl too. They weren't winning it with Trent Dilfer. Eli Manning got fucking destroyed in that NFC Championship game. I mean, that guy took abuse. He also had that might be his signature game in his career. Not a lot of quarterbacks are doing that. In the history of football, not a lot of quarterbacks are doing what Eli Manning did in those 2 Super Bowl runs and in that NFC Championship game against the 49ers.
What do you mean as far as in the history? Like, a lot of quarterbacks aren't doing what? Because Eli's second run, he put up a lot of numbers. Eli's first run, was very Ryan Tannehill-esque. He threw 6 touchdown passes that entire. You and I have debated so much. I just know these stats in my head. He threw 6 touchdown passes that entire playoffs in 2007. Now 2011 he went off. But would you would have to agree with me, right? 2007 was more of I'm not going to make mistakes. I'm going to make the plays when I have to. I have a decent running game. I have a defense who's playing well. That was the recipe for success in 2007.
Yeah, absolutely.
With the Giants.
And the 2011 NFC Championship game is the game I think that there's literally a handful of quarterbacks in the history of the league who put the performance he did in that game, considering what was going through him. We've seen Tom Brady be taken down by pass rushes. When you get to Tom Brady, you get Tom Brady off his spot. It's amazing that Eli Manning didn't die in that game, let alone at one point throwing 11 consecutive completions, driving them down to win the game. Everybody's like, oh, yeah, and there's a fucking couple bad punt fumbles. Yeah, there's going to take luck to win a lot of games. But the fact that they were in that game, the way that he was getting pressured, is something I think only a few quarterbacks in the history of the league can accomplish.
And Ryan Tannehill will be one of them.
Hey, I like the Titans. I like the Titans. I'm rooting for the Titans. And
remember the Titans.
And when Ryan Tannehill does it for 4 straight games and wins the Super Bowl MVP and then does it a second time, I'll be on the Ryan Tannehill bandwagon.
Can I just say, 2 weeks ago, I said Titans are the best team in the NFL. They're winning the AFC South.
In the NFL? Did you just say that?
I said if you looked at that day, you would say that the Titans are playing, the best football in the NFL right now.
Hold on, let me hop in. He said that, and I said it's a classic. As you know, this has now become a theme on the show. Aaron's hot takes. And I looked at him at the time, and I was like, the Niners? The Ravens? I was like, what?
But we've seen Derrick Henry go off, and we've seen Derrick Henry go off in a playoff game. And when you have that kind of a bruising running back and you can control the ball, and you have an offensive strategy that is running off of that play action from that, and a quarterback that's not making mistakes, and a good defense, the bend but don't break defense. Bend that don't break defenses, I'll take over the ball hawking defenses like every day of the week.
100%.
The big play, turnover teams versus the teams that just go, hey man, let's just make it really hard for you to get down there and score. I'll take it every day. So they are playing great. That doesn't mean I think that they can do it 4 times against the competition that they're going to face.
And that the bend don't break, to me, that's been kind of the mantra. Now, they've had some great defenses, but through his tenure of Bill Belichick.
Absolutely.
Is, hey, you're going to drive. You might get down to the
Bill Belichick's always going, we love the idea of it being a 1-score game in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Yes, give it to us.
You can get down to the 7-yard line, the 11-yard line, whatever it is, but you're kicking field goals.
And look, that you can talk about the Giants defenses that Eli Manning had in New York, the 17th and the 25th ranked defenses that obviously came alive during, the playoffs. But Tom Coughlin had a very similar attitude. Hey, give us a shot late. Give us the ball late. I dare you. I dare you, Bill Belichick, to give us a shot late. I'm sorry, but I can love the Titans, and I can love their coach and their running game and their defense, and I can like their quarterback. But goddamn if I don't bet on the Patriots or the 49ers or whoever those guys might play in a conference championship game or Super Bowl situation, if you're going, Ryan Tannehill gets the ball on his 25, 58 seconds, he has to go down there and get a score.
Yeah.
Sorry. Does that make me a Ryan Tannehill hater?
No, and I'm not necessarily.
And that's honestly been the argument with me. That's where Sean Merriman and I disagree. I'm a Phillip Rivers defender, but also I've never liked Phillip Rivers in that situation. It is the hole in Phillip Rivers' resume, is he's had those opportunities and he's not gotten it done.
There's not many guys, though. Again, I just kind of want to circle back to my point of there's not many quarterbacks that you can really trust. Because it's such a hard position, and it's such a hard thing to do, especially in the playoffs. That's why they love showing the stats, and I think those stats are so important. How many game-winning fourth-quarter drives does your quarterback have? How many playoff game-winning drives does your quarterback have? It's not easy to do, especially when all the odds are stacked against you. And that's what makes we'd agree, right? That's what makes the great of the great.
Yeah.
Even
and that also is what separates the great from the good, from the fair, from the poor. We can talk all we want about, what were the Colts supposed to do and how much money do they have to spend and where is he getting paid as compared to the other players. But 2 weeks ago, Brisket had a fucking chance to go down and win the game, and that final drive was an abomination.
Which, I'm sorry.
The game where they ran the ball, they ran the clock down from 5 minutes to no minutes, where they didn't let him fucking throw it, where he had to take a timeout with the clock stopped pre-4th down.
Was this against the Texans?
Yeah. It was an abomination, and that's on Reich, and that's on the quarterback.
But even someone like Joe Montana, of his 4 Super Bowls, he only had to leave a comeback drive once.
Yeah.
Because that's how good they were.
Yeah.
Sadly, it was against my hometown
Yeah,
team.
and look, we can
and I'm not trying
to if you're a GOAT argument person, and you're on the Joe Montana thing and you go, hey, man, those teams dominated. The argument for Joe Montana in terms of is look at Joe Montana's Super Bowl numbers. The guy's unreal.
No, he's not.
The guy's quarterback rating in the Super Bowl, and which isn't everything. It's like a million.
No, it's unmatched.
And he's got 40 whatever touchdowns to 1 interception in 4 Super Bowls. He's incredible. He played perfect. And the thing with Joe Montana is, yeah, we have good teams, and yeah, we're gonna face good competition. There is 0 question mark here. He's going, hey, look, it's John Candy. Like that's Joe Montana.
Yeah. Well, Joe, we're talking about potential. How would you like the potential to possibly win $500?
If you know anything about me, Andy, I could use that $500.
I think you could.
Yeah.
I do know a lot about you. Guys, I want to let everyone know we're doing a contest with our friends at Current. That is our sponsor for this episode. So download Current for free at current.com/dirty sports. Current will double your paycheck of a lucky winner, one of the dirtballs who signs up using promo code Dirty Sports. They will double that paycheck up to $500. So there is a maximum up to $500 if you go to current.com/Dirty Sports. So here's how it works. The first 50 people, Joe, who use promo code Dirty Sports or sign up at current.com/Dirty Sports, they'll be in the description of this episode, will get a chance to double their paycheck up to $500. To qualify, what you need to do is switch over your paycheck to Current. If you use a different bank, switch it over for direct deposit to Current. And I love Current. It's a mobile bank account that comes with a Visa credit card that has no minimum balance, Joe.
Yep.
No overdrafts and no hidden fees.
I like it. I was reading all about this. Current, it's just a modern banking system. Like the idea that we're all tied to these old school banks that don't provide us any service. This thing links to your Venmo, it links to your PayPal. All your electronic payments can be linked to it. They're giving you an opportunity to double your paycheck. They're giving you the opportunity to get your paycheck early.
Well, yeah, that's the Black Premium card. It allows you to get your paycheck up to 2 days faster when you set up your direct deposit with Current. So if you normally get paid on Friday, if you set this up through the Black Premium card on Current, you then get paid on Wednesday. Who doesn't like that early money? Everybody at work's like, yo, man, I'm getting paid. I can't wait till Friday. We're going to go out. We're going to get lit. And you're like, no, man, I'm getting paid Wednesday, son. I'm getting lit 2 days early. You got to love that.
Yeah.
There's been so many times in my life where I'm like, I can't wait.
Can't wait to get that paycheck.
No, but where you need the money because you got to pay for stuff.
Yeah.
And you're like, whoa, 2 days early. So, guys, Current is amazing. Download the app now. Go to current.com/Dirty Sports. You can download it for free. Again, the first 50 people to use promo code Dirty Sports or go to current.com/Dirty Sports can get up to $500 or to double their next paycheck.
If you're one of our young dirtballs who hasn't set up a bank yet, I 100% recommend this. If you're an older dirtball, like I know some dirtballs have had, that pay with everything with cash because they don't have a debit card, like sign up for Current. Like again, honestly, when I read it, I'm like, it's modern banking.
Yeah. And you only need to be 18, just so everybody knows. I just want to throw out that disclaimer. So you do have to be 18, but basically if you're 18, Get current with the current card, fam. That's an Andy Ruther original. You like that?
Yeah. Sure, Current loves it too. Get current with the current, fam.
It's lit, son. Okay, let's keep our New York discussion going.
Yes.
Let's move into the other sports. It's funny how it works out. It's like Prano leaves, and then all the New York news just suddenly accumulates. This has happened a couple of times. And for his return, it's just a smorgasbord.
And it's funny because right up till the end, like right up until a couple days ago, it was just like I was just coming back into the snake pit. Like everything was going bad. Not that the New York Giants starting quarterback getting hurt is a positive thing, but again, I think it's just I think not only does it prove me right in the don't serve up your rookie quarterback to death, but also I look forward to, regardless of wins and losses, I look forward to Eli Manning just showing his physical ability to still play. And as we will talk about in the NFL, I think there's a lot of teams that need quarterbacks. And if my favorite New York Giant of all time, Eli Manning, wants to continue playing in the NFL, which maybe he doesn't, I think this will be a good showcase to show that he still has the physical ability to do so. But as you said, switching sports, honestly, the best baseball news since, for me as a Mets fan, since I don't know what, that the Mets would let me throw out a first pitch? Like, how far back do you have to go?
Well, the Mets are being sold.
And as long as it's not to James Dolan, it's an upgrade.
Steve Cohen is the gentleman who currently owns 4%. The reports say he is going to then up that to 80%.
The best news in the history of the New York Mets, honestly, like since since '86. They have been tied to a disaster ownership in the Wilpons for 20-something years now, and it's been horrific. And they have had many, many talented players over the years that they had to let go because of the penny pinching, Madoff scandaling, pyramid scheming, scumbag disasters that were their ownership. They've had a ton of opportunities to get into free agent markets that they passed on because of their penny pinching, pyramid scheming, scumbag owners. And they've still managed to compete in multiple seasons over that time. Like the Mets organization, I applaud the players' ability to compete, being hamstrung by this disastrous ownership situation. Steve Cohen reportedly and obviously potentially and hopefully buying the team. And the talk is, I don't know the numbers of it all, but that he would be like the richest owner in baseball or something like that. Like he has more money personally than anybody else.
According to Forbes, he is worth an estimated $13.6 billion. It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I don't know where that puts him against other Major League Baseball owners, but I'd assume a fair amount are billionaires, probably most.
The report I read is that I think that he would be the richest person, as opposed to like some of these guys. Some of these billionaires are part of ownership groups, et cetera, but that he himself would be the richest owner, and that's a great position to be in when you're buying a team in the number one market in the world.
So I read an article in the New York Post, which I put in the rundown, which I'm sure no one read. Aaron claiming he did. This is what it said. If you're a Mets fan, you should be excited, not just because you're getting rid of the Wilpons. What it said is he grew up a Mets fan, so I think that's huge. And two, they compared it to the Ballmer situation of Steve Ballmer for the Clippers, who owns the Clippers, wanted to buy a team because he just loved basketball and he wanted to see a team succeed. They said it's a similar situation where how Ballmer's spending with the Clippers, they envision he's going to do the same thing with the Mets, in that when he takes over, if he does buy the team, Prano, it's saying that suddenly the Mets are going to be like the Yankees, like the Dodgers, like the Red Sox.
Which, much like the Bomber situation, is if you want to hold your ownership to the flames and say, hey, we have to compete against the Phillies, the Braves, whatever the other teams in your division, but you're also competing against the other team in your city, which is the biggest spending team in the world. You're saying, hey, you're like it or not, despite the fact that you guys are only going to play one series against each other every year, and you're going to maybe potentially play each other in a World Series, and that's it. You're going to be compared to the New York Yankees for the back pages of the the New York tabloids, for fanship in New York, all that stuff. So immediately, like Bomber with the Clippers, it's like, I am competing against the Lakers. Like it or not, you're competing against the team in your city. And so when you bring in an owner who has a ton of money and you say, hey, outspend the fucking Steinbrenners, I love it. It's because, again, there's no salary cap, and it's not my fucking money.
Yeah.
And also, we have great talent. And we have great talent that, sadly, this ownership
Well, you just watched one pitcher leave.
yeah, this ownership change wasn't get in there fast enough to save. Zach Wheeler has gone to the Phillies for $118 million. Great pitcher. Would have loved to see him stay. This ownership group or owner himself isn't in there soon enough to say, we're going to outspend everybody. But they still have Syndergaard. They obviously still have two-time back-to-back Cy Young winning DeGrom. You've got Pete Alonso, who set the rookie home run record and is poised to be a beast for, the better part of a couple decades. Jeff McNeil. There's talent on this team, and the holes they have, we can stop doing the let's spend on Jed Lowry, who can play every little infield position that we need. Let's stop spending on Robinson Cano, who we're like hoping to get a deal on because we're taking his big contract, but we're also getting a close. It's like, let's just go out and get fucking free agents for once. Go out and sign dudes.
Yeah.
Because you're New York.
Well, it looks like that's what will happen. Now, he tried to buy the Dodgers in 2012.
Well, thank God that didn't happen.
Yeah. But, again, to me, that shows the point of
he wants it.
This dude wants a team. He's willing to spend the money. Those are the two biggest markets. He tried to buy the Dodgers. Now he's trying to buy the Mets. The two biggest cities in the country. It just sounds like a sports guy who's ready to spend money.
And I love it. And there was talk immediately that there was maybe some face-saving 5-year, transition plan where the Wilpons were going to still have control or something like that. That's now sort of being poo-pooed on. But, hopefully there's no truth to that. Or hopefully, maybe that was leaked by somebody and just to make sure Cohen fully makes the deal and takes control, because we need to wrangle this team away from the disasters that are the Wilpons and put them in our rear view once and for all and move on with a franchise that, whether you can be a LOL Mets person and a cynical Mets fan or just a Mets hater all you want, but there is great history with the New York franchise, the New York Mets franchise. Obviously, multiple World Series, more World Series appearances, great players, Hall of Famers, and it's New York, and this is what we have needed forever. The same thing, across the river in Manhattan at Madison Square Garden. It is an ownership problem. People want to throw David Fizdale under the bus, and people want to throw the fucking It is an ownership problem. I know you know that with your Bengals in Cincinnati. Some things, it doesn't matter how talented you are not going to overcome a bungling owner.
And I made that argument, and Troy Aikman backed me up this week. I made that same argument about Jerry Jones. It's an ownership problem. It comes from the top.
Yeah, and Jerry Jones, I heard you talking to Tug about that, and the one part of that I truly agree with is Jerry Jones is that guy. He's going to spend to win. He has no problem spending money. He has no problem being boisterous. He has done a great job of holding on to the Dallas Cowboys licensing agreement. He's done a good job of holding on to the idea that Cowboys are America's team and stealing fans despite not winning anything for 3 decades.
Yeah.
Holding on to a great fan base. But, dude, you're not a GM.
Yeah, exactly.
Stop it.
Yeah. No,
it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
But as a Giants fan, please be the GM forever. Please re-sign Jason Garrett. Please give Dak Prescott $400 million.
Yeah. No, but it's true.
I want Jerry Jones to rename the Dallas Cowboys the Dallas Jerry Jones. I want him to go bigger.
I feel, again, to kind of bring back to that discussion from last week, which is prevalent in this discussion, sports are odd because it's the one area where, they don't look at the top. If you have a company that's not performing as well, they look at the CEO and they go, hey, what the hell's going on here? Sports is just like, hey, I'm the owner. I don't care.
And the best teams that we've seen forever across sports are ones where the owner finds a brilliant person that knows better than them about the sport, hands it over to them, and says, go for it. Pat Riley left the New York Knicks because Miami gave him ownership in the team. That was the deal. He wanted to be the face of the franchise, and Miami has stepped back and said, this is Pat Riley's basketball team, and it has led to much success in Miami. Right out of the gate, it led to success. They were contenders in the late 90s and in the early 2000s. They won with Shaq and Wade. They get LeBron and Wade and Bosh. They're still successful to this day because Pat Riley is in charge.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick in
New
England is in charge. You don't hear Robert Kraft coming out and talking about who should and shouldn't be the players. And honestly, the reports of a downfall of New England has been when the story is that Robert Kraft is trying to get involved.
Yeah.
He is trying to say who should or shouldn't be the players and the quarterback. You look all around sports. The successful teams are the ones that turn over it to guys who know what the fuck they're doing.
Sure.
And you go back to the Knicks, my Knicks franchise, we did that with Donnie Walsh and Mike D'Antoni. And that is where my love of Mike D'Antoni and my hatred for Carmelo Anthony and James Dolan come from forever, because they put a guy in Donnie Walsh in place who had proven he knew what the fuck they were doing, and they were like, do it your way. And then they decided to revoke that. And they go, no, you know what? We want Carmelo Anthony. Well, you're fucking assholes.
Okay, who wins more games this year?
The Golden State Warriors. Sorry, answer your question.
You didn't let me ask the question. The Golden State Warriors or the New York Knicks?
The Golden State Warriors.
Right now the Warriors are 4-19. The Knicks are 4-17.
Yeah, the Golden State Warriors. They have a system in place. They don't have the talent.
They also have the Western Conference in place.
It's fine. They don't have the talent, and again, I'm not a Steve Kerr slurper, but I like Steve Kerr. But unless they're tanking, which for some reason the Knicks aren't tanking, and fuck you and LOL infinite forever to all the people who are like, I actually kind of like what the Knicks are building. You're a fucking idiot. It's a disaster. It's a debacle. It is all the anger I had during the free agency thing. The idea that you're going to just sign a bunch of power forwards and have a bunch of shitty point guards who don't know what the fuck. Like, the Knicks roster is a joke. It's a joke. I'm not, like, people are all wanting to chop David Fizdale's head off. How do you judge? This is exactly my point with Daniel Jones and Eli Manning. How are you fairly judging what somebody's doing when you have said, hey, you're an NBA coach. Here is a bunch of cast-offs and nobodies and a stockpile of players at all one position compete in the NBA. It's a joke. It's a joke. Their fucking free agency was get a bunch of fucking value buys. They were checking out at the supermarket with no items, and then decided that they literally took their shopping cart, they walked around free agency, they put nothing in their shopping cart, and now they're trying to feed a family with the things that they could buy between getting into the aisle or not. They're feeding kids packs of gum and fucking Us Weeklies.
It was like they went, you remember the old $1.99 DVDs?
Yeah.
You know that bin?
Yeah.
And you're about to check out?
Yeah. Broken Arrow with fucking Howie Long.
Yeah, the Knicks were basically, their free agency was the DVD,
Yeah.
the bargain DVD
They're like,
section.
why rent here at Blockbuster when you can own these movies like Screwballs and Broken Arrow?
And Howard the Duck.
Yeah, Howard the Duck.
I'm glad you threw in Screwballs.
Yeah.
We're going to do...
Harry the Hendersons 2 is on sale? Why am I going to rent this when I can own it forever?
Harry and the Hendersons. They didn't do a second one, did they?
I think they did.
They did a second Harry and the
Yeah.
Hendersons? It's amazing the shit that gets made. I am loving the Warriors suck, though, too.
Yeah.
Because they were so good, and I think a lot of people love that. Although it's going to be crazy because they're going to get Steph and Clay back next year.
And they're going to get a top 5 draft pick.
I was just going to say that, yeah. Although I'd love to see anybody who's from the Bay or is, they got the brand new stadium. What is it? Chase? Is it Chase Arena?
Yeah, Oracle, isn't it?
That was the old one.
But isn't it still Oracle?
I think it's Chase.
Okay.
But anyway, regardless, I would love to see somebody who goes I want to see who's showing up to these games now.
Yeah.
Because they were all already cast as fair weather fans.
Yeah. Nobody. I mean, people are, but it's just not. It's the budget version, But I'm sure it's still super expensive. It's in San Francisco. It's a brand new stadium.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I think the Warriors will bounce back nicely, and I think that they will be okay. And in the next 10 seasons, I'll take the Warriors wins over the Brooklyn Nets wins. Starting next year going forward, I'll take Warriors more wins in the decade than Brooklyn Nets with KD.
I would take that in a heartbeat. Yeah. Well, if you're a Bay Area dirtball, here's what I want you to do, because I want to see a view from the seats of the new arena. Hop on the SeatGeek app. Use promo code DIRTY. You get $10 off your first purchase. Go ahead, do that. Guys, SeatGeek is a great app. It's the only app I use for sports events, comedy shows, music festivals, concerts. You name it. You can see exactly where you're sitting. There's a good chance. There's some discussions about possibly going to Seahawks-Rams this week in the Coliseum.
Wow.
Yeah. I would get those tickets on SeatGeek. Once again, guys, SeatGeek will even give you $10 off on your first SeatGeek purchase. All you need to do is use our promo code. So download the SeatGeek app today and use promo code DIRTY for $10 off on your first purchase. That's promo code DIRTY for $10 off on your first purchase. And if you send me a screenshot of any SeatGeek promo codes, I will personally send you 2 Dirty Sports koozies in the mail. So Melo won Player of the Week. Everyone's making a joke. Like, everyone.
Yeah.
Although, apparently, Melo stans aren't. But I've seen everybody make a joke about this, from the NBA TNT crew to most people on social media.
In the week.
Did you see this tweet? I hope you did.
James Harden scored 47 points per game. Melo scored 22 points a game. And Carmelo Anthony won Player of the Week. Carmelo Anthony played more games than James Harden and scored 30 points less.
So it brings
Carmelo Anthony scored 66 points in the week. James Harden scored 60 points in a game.
So it brings this question. Why is the NBA...
It's a pity. It's the most fucking pity award I've ever seen.
Is that what it is? They're just...
The NBA, what the NBA has done for years is try to keep you excited, because the NBA is the only league where the tank is an actual strategy, right? Where being bad is good. You can't really tank in football. It's not physically possible. It's hard to tell players to go less hard. Baseball, the draft is such a crapshoot. So what the NBA has always needed to do is find a way to make tanking less prevalent, to make resting players, less common, and to keep you interested in games between 4 and 11 teams that are playing. So the Blazers have sucked this year. They signed Carmelo. He's playing fine, whatever. It's like he's not playing great. He's certainly not Player of the Week worthy. And they're like, but be excited about the Blazers. Melo's back. And it's an atrocity. It's disgusting. The idea that that James Harden scores 30 plus more points in a full less game than Carmelo Anthony, and Carmelo Anthony gets Player of the Week, is a joke. It's a pity award. It is the NBA equivalent of everybody standing around while a special needs kid makes a layup and then they carry him off the court.
Carmelo's the special needs kid.
Yeah, Carmelo is the special needs kid. Carmelo is the kid where, and he misses, so the big kid gets a rebound and hands it to him and boxes everybody out. Carmelo Anthony is a special needs kid.
You know what I don't get about the Carmelo situation, though, Joe, is, and I know we've said this before about former players, I don't get these former players or even current players before Melo was signed, just being such big stands for him. I was sifting through because I'd love to get, you and I have talked about this. I'd love to get, we need to start getting some NBA players, former NBA players in the show. So I was sifting through different podcasts, and I'm not going to name names, of different former NBA players. And this is before Melo was signed. And it's just wild hearing these guys being like, I don't understand. How's Melo not signed? And I want to be like, what don't you understand? He's never been a winner. He's always been a ball hog. The game has changed to when he played to, in his earlier days to now. Why? That's my question. Why do all these former and even current players be like, why isn't Melo signed? There's a reason.
Because these guys,
they've been brainwashed.
Well, it's not even that. It's that I think, take a look at the guys who are the great former players. Who are the great or the good even? Who are standout NBA coaches who are former players?
Standout NBA coaches?
Standout NBA coaches. And by the way, standout just not bad. Just like who's a good former player who's a coach?
I mean, a little before my time, he was all right? Phil Jackson?
Sure. Great. I mean, not a great player, but and obviously a Hall of Fame coach.
Yeah, what are we asking? Do they have to be decent former players?
No, that's actually my point. Doc Rivers. How many times do you think Doc Rivers was an all-star? How many times do you think Steve Kerr was an all-star? How many times was Phil Jackson an all-star? How many times is, it's not those, where's the Jason Kidds? Where's the, all these guys, the guys who had Magic Johnson? There's the guys who have the ability to succeed in basketball beyond their physical abilities are the ones that are smart. Okay? Sorry, but I don't give a shit what Paul Pierce thinks about basketball because Paul Pierce is good at playing basketball and he's fucking terrible at understanding it. Terrible at it. It's a joke how little Paul Pierce knows about basketball. Physically, great at playing it. Congratulations. But the shit that the dude says on TV is an abomination. Kenny Smith. This guy knows his fucking basketball. Kenny Smith's also 6 feet tall and fucking played in the NBA for fucking 15 years. It's the guys who stand for Melo are the guys who judge him on his physical talent. There is no doubt about it. Carmelo Anthony, physically gifted and talented enough to have been an NBA Hall of Famer. He's probably going to be an NBA Hall of Famer anyway because the Hall of Fame is kind of a joke. But no doubt about it, had the talent. There's never been a question about talent. This has been a question about attitude, heart, hustle, personality, understanding the game. Carmelo Anthony's problem is he thinks he's the best player of all time. He doesn't understand why long twos are fucking antiquated. He doesn't try on defense. He barely hustles. He refuses to play power forward until this season. He barely tries on fucking rebounds until this season. He hates his fucking teammates. He shits on coaches' strategies who come up with fucking ways for their team to win despite his reckless style of play. And it's why he got benched in the fourth quarter in Oklahoma. It's why the Houston Rockets decided to pay him to leave. It's why the Knicks were an atrocity when he was on the team. It's why Mike D'Antoni left and then went on to be a coach of the year again somewhere else. He's the reason Linsanity ended. Carmelo Anthony is a fucking physical freak, and he's a very talented player. But LeBron James mentally runs circles around him.
I want you to look up something for me, Aaron.
Carmelo Anthony is a better athlete and a more gifted basketball player than Luka Doncic. And Luka is going to win the MVP before he fucking can drink alcohol in the United States of America.
Wait, repeat what you just said.
Physically, Carmelo Anthony, better at basketball, more gifted than Luka. But look at what Luka does. You watch him and you're like, he's not that fast. How does he get separation? Because he understands it. He's mentally, his feel for the game is unmatched at his age.
I will say.
You go, how are you hitting step back threes? You're not that quick.
I will say, I agree. Like, I've watched a lot more Luka this year already. I was watching that Pelicans game the other day.
Carmelo Anthony doesn't have a step back. He's 15 years in the league. He doesn't take step back jumpers.
And I was watching Luka, and you're like, man, how exactly? You're saying, how is he so good? I think that game he had 35, 18 rebounds.
His feel for the game is on a level I've never seen at 20 years old.
He's so good. He's so good. He's right there in the MVP. I know it's only a quarter through the year. Can you look up for me I'm sure this has to be somewhere, what Carmelo's win-loss record is in the playoffs? And again, it's a team sport, but that's my thing. I just don't understand how and again, I want to get a couple of these guys on the show. I want to ask them to their face. Why do you guys stand so hard when statistically, dude, here's the thing. Here's what I've kind of decided now at this point. In my love of sports, Joe, and our love of sports, what I've decided is the former players, they just want to call people who look at stats stat nerds. But they also use stats to their advantage.
Of course they do.
So it's like pick a lane. You can't tell me, oh, Carmelo scored this many points in his career. And then I come back, well, his VORP isn't that good. Or his PER isn't that good. Oh, well, those are nerd stats. Well, what is it?
Right.
His points matter?
Because they like stats. They just don't like stats when you use the ones that give all the stats context.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And that's fine. I don't care. But the bottom line is the people that stand for Carmelo are standing on his ability and what he's shown when he has been his most brilliant self. But the thing is like, I don't give a fuck if you can score 60 twice a year.
What does that do?
I give a fuck that you are you're efficient,
yeah,
and that you're a leader.
Yeah.
Especially in basketball where one player can change everything. Carmelo Anthony came to the Knicks and didn't change anything.
You know who I want to talk about?
Except run out of town a guy who has gone on to win the Coach of the Year somewhere else.
Well, another guy we've been critical of on this show, and we talk about change, and I got to give him some love, who has changed, and that was part of the agreement when he signed, said you got to play this way or you're not going to be on the team. Dwight Howard. So, obviously, I watch a lot of Lakers games. They're 19-3, right? They're tied with the Bucks for the best record in the NBA. It's not just LeBron. It's not just Anthony Davis. They are playing as a team. And shout out to Frank Vogel for getting them to play well as a team. It's Dwight Howard. It's Alex Caruso. It's all these guys. But Dwight Howard
hit a 3 last night, by the way.
Oh, I saw it.
It's amazing.
He now has as many as Ben Simmons?
Yeah.
But real quick, Dwight Howard, he hasn't been a problem.
Right.
He knows, hey, I'm at the tail of my career. I'm coming in off the bench. I'm going to give good defense. I'm going to get rebounds. I'm going to slam it when LeBron throws me the alley-oop. Dwight Howard is playing great basketball for what he's needed to do. And that's the difference between someone like him and a Carmelo.
But let me do something I never thought I'd do. Let me give Carmelo Anthony a little bit of credit. He has adjusted his game a little bit on the Blazers. It's the only reason that he hasn't been embarrassing. But at the same time, there's just a style of play that just does not jive with today's NBA that what he excels at doing is no longer valuable. That now he has adjusted his game a little bit with the Blazers and he has been better. He's also a joke on defense. It's a joke. He's still a joke. He gives zero effort. He's never been good, and he's never given effort. And it's like, dude, you don't have to be great, but you got to try.
Yeah.
You got to try.
You got to attempt.
And Carmelo Anthony is better for the Blazers than I thought he would be. But it's not good. And the idea that he won Player of the Week is a special needs kid getting a layup.
All right, so I found that playoff stat for Carmelo. In the playoffs, he is 25 and 47.
That was Andy dropping the mic.
I just don't know what else you need. Like,
and
again,
people go, oh, what teams was he on? Well, he was on the 2-seed Knicks team that lost to the Pacers. Well, he was on a Nuggets team that had plenty of talent. But the problem is he was the guy. Carmelo Anthony, not the guy.
But again, I want to just sit here and just poke holes in everyone, NBA fans in general's arguments. Because I feel, I could be wrong, but you'd probably agree with me on this. I feel like the Venn diagram of the Melo stan is also the Kobe stan. Because they like the selfish, oh, he gets points. So again, to poke holes in that argument, that same Kobe stan who says, 5 rings, 5 rings, 5 rings. And then I say, well, Carmelo's 25 and 47 in the playoffs. It's a team game. It's a team game. And then I would say back, wait a second. You just talked about Kobe's
It's all
rings.
of it. It's all of it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's all of it. That's why it's not just about rings, and it's not just about stats. It's not just about leadership.
Sure.
It's about all the things.
Yeah.
It's about all the things. What did Kobe Bryant do when he didn't have a fucking big guy to run the triangle offense through? Nothing.
Yeah.
If Kobe Bryant is your single best player and your only player, you're not good. You're not good. LeBron James, me, you, Aaron Maharis, and fucking Yoshi will win 25 games in the NBA. We'll win 25 games because LeBron James is that fucking good. Carmelo Anthony can't be your best player if you're on you want to win a championship.
My mind is racing right now with mental thoughts.
Somebody put that fucking Photoshop together.
Who's setting, like, who's shooting threes?
Nobody. We're all getting embarrassed all the time, and LeBron James is winning 25 games single-handedly in the NBA.
I still haven't even played Maharis. I think we had to.
I know.
No, Maharis, because you just said you're
one-on-one season.
Is it one-on-one season now?
Yeah, I think it's definitely one-on-one season. As soon as my break starts, I think we got to do the basketball challenge as well as the kicking challenge.
I didn't even hear about that. By the way, I've seen a lot of talk about the kicking challenge, but I don't know what the kicking challenge actually is. And I would like to say right up front, I think kicking is way harder than anybody thinks it is. I don't think is it 20 kicks?
It's 20
I don't
kicks.
think anybody's hitting 6 kicks. Anybody. I don't think anybody's hitting 6.
I dropped my initial estimate from I had you at 9 and I have Ruther at 4, and I still think that's
no,
being
dude.
optimistic.
You were out of control. You had like Tug at 13, Prano at 12, me at 8, and I was like, what? What is happening?
Yeah, initially I had him at 12, you at 7, line at -5. But then I was thinking, no, kicking's fucking hard. So I was like, I gotta drop that, and I still think my 9 and 4 is optimistic, but I'm gonna stick with it.
So it's a 28-yard field goal. I guess we can go to like Santa Monica High School or a high school by here.
28 yards, so you're at the
18.
Right. So that's longer than the old extra point. The old extra point was a 20-yarder, right? It was the 3. Snap to the 10.
Yeah, I think. What's the extra point now?
35, right?
No, I think it's 25 or 30.
Okay. 30. Well, because 28, the guy who missed 28 for the Panthers?
That's how this all got started.
Right, but that was shorter than an extra point.
So the extra point's 30 yards.
I believe. But I used to kick. I wasn't our kicker, but like I've been on multiple football teams where we were like, we got to find a guy to just kick extra points.
No.
From the 3, snap to the 10.
I know it's not easy.
It's not easy.
I know. I never said it was easy. That's why I set mine low. Tug was very arrogant. Tug was talking about like making like 65, 70%.
Good luck. I haven't seen him wear anything but Vans ever. Is he kicking in lace-up Vans? He's kicking field goals in boat shoes?
Yeah, I'm not saying it's easy.
Tug out there in khakis and a polo shirt kicking field goals. He's like, hold my kid. I'm going to make 70% of my field goals.
Ruther, hold my other kid. We'll do it before Christmas. I think we have to do it just to see and show how difficult it is. Okay, let's get to the NFL week picks. Before we do that, it is championship weekend for college football. I don't like any of these games, really, to be honest.
You don't like any of them?
Just like from a viewing standpoint, as usual, I've watched way too much. I always say I'm not going to watch as much college football. I always end up watching a lot of it. So of the Power 5 conferences, we have a lot of big point spreads.
Well, okay, now, as we go through these games, tell me, do they have, like, playoff like,
Yeah.
which one of these have any matter in the playoffs?
Most of them.
Okay.
But like Oregon, Utah is sitting right outside right now.
So if they win, Utah could potentially get in.
They could potentially get in.
Okay.
That's Friday night.
Oregon not in playoff contention.
No, because they have 2 losses.
Okay.
But you have some rematches too, which I just don't like that as much. Like Baylor, Oklahoma already played. That was that game where Baylor had a was it a 28-3 lead?
Yeah.
And they lost. Wisconsin got absolutely beat down by Ohio State earlier. That's a rematch.
Georgia, LSU, you don't give Georgia any shot?
I mean, that's, it's a 6.5 spread.
Seems low for a college football game.
I know. I like.
You don't see a lot of, like, 3-point NFL style spreads
No,
in college football.
You don't. Here's the thing about LSU.
I feel like 6.5 is the 3-point college spread.
Here's the thing about LSU. They have a great offense. Their defense is suspect, which is kind of rare for an LSU team. Normally they live on their defense. I don't trust Georgia enough, though. But, I mean, look at some of these spreads, dude.
Yeah.
This is the ACC championship. Clemson is 28.5-point favorites against Virginia, one of Tug's schools.
Yeah. Two of Tug's schools making just this championship weekend. Oklahoma and Virginia. Oh, and Baylor. 3 of them.
Tug's a Baylor guy, too?
I don't know. I feel like he is.
I think he lived in Wisconsin for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So he's also a
I think he's a Baylor fan because he wakes up in the morning and waking up sounds like Waco. So he's in. I'm in. Give me the Bears.
yeah.
He's like, also, I've seen a bear once. So, Baylor.
I just think like Ohio State to me.
My son has a teddy bear. I'm a Baylor fan.
I think whoever gets that 4 seed, whether it's Oklahoma or Utah or Georgia, if they have to play Ohio State,
Ohio State's won.
They will get their shit pushed in. Ohio State is stacked, dude. Absolutely stacked. Like, Urban Meyer leaving has not affected a thing.
Does Ohio State win the national championship?
I won't go that far.
Okay.
I don't know.
I hate Ohio State, so I was hoping you would go that far just to curse them.
I mean, it'd be nice to see Burrow. Let me ask you something. Let me ask you something about Burrow. Do you think Burrow could pull an Eli or Elway?
And what?
I was
refuse to go to the Bengals?
Yeah, I was having this discussion with my brother.
Could he? Should he? And will he? Are 3 Could he? Yes. Should he? Absolutely. Will he? Isn't he from Ohio?
Yeah, I think so.
So, unless he's self-hating Ohioan, which I haven't met a lot of, Ohio stands are like Carmelo stands. There's absolutely no reason for it, but they're so passionate. So he probably won't. He should. Why do you want to play for the Bengals? I guess you're from Ohio. You're a Tiger in college. You're gonna be a Tiger, and who knows what's going through his mind.
It's just it's a sad situation.
Yeah. I'll take Utah, Oklahoma, LSU, Ohio State, and Clemson.
I mean, seriously, right?
Well, who do you guys have for the national championship then? If you guys are willing, or if you're ready to make a prediction.
I'll go LSU just because for my boy.
Man, can you imagine a Coach O calling to the show if LSU won a title? There'd be a lot of talk of sucking Gators' dicks.
Alabama's done,
Yeah.
right? Because they lost again.
2 losses.
Yeah.
This is actually the first year ever where Alabama will. They introduced the college playoffs in 2014, where they're not going to make it. I love seeing things like Alabama's dynasty is over. I'm like, did he make the playoffs 1 year?
Yeah.
What about Fresno State? What do you guys got going on, Moharis?
Dude, we fucking suck. We had a good year last year, but we suck this year. I know you were prepared to go Ohio State, but I'm full on board the Ohio State train winning it this year.
They're pretty stacked. I just feel like you never know what happens in those games, though. Let's get to our Week 14 NFL picks. I am very stoked about this. Joe, we got to just really address how you're getting your shit pushed in by me. I mean, this is a bloodbath, buddy. I hate to say it. You are getting destroyed.
Well, I'm down 10, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I've been up since week 3. You're down 10 points.
Yeah.
You're not gaining any ground. Like, at what point are you just going to have to just pick opposite of me? There's only 4 weeks left.
Yeah, I mean, 4 weeks, I have to, if I outscore you by 3 a week going forward, I win by 2. So I've got to make up. I'd like to pick up 3 games this week. That's my strategy.
Well, I got to redo the L chain and get it nice and looking shiny and polished up for you. You look, man.
Now it's official. You made the claim on Twitter yesterday, and now you're making the claim that it's going to me. So
it's going to you.
We finally have Ruther cursing Ruther. So now This is where when do I make it up? Starts today.
And if you're a listener, you guys, you should start listening to my picks. I dominated Prano last year in Pick'em. I'm dominating him this year. Maybe
but what you're saying is they should listen to your picks for what? Not to gamble. You're still not making money out here. So don't listen to either of us is the answer.
Who should they listen to?
They should listen to PTP picks. GTP picks. GTP picks. There's so many P's in it. I always want to say PTP picks. I always want to go PT player like Dick Vitale.
We officially lost GTP picks.
No, we didn't.
As a sponsor. I'm kidding. Guys, Joe is right.
GTP.
Joe is right. You know why he's right? Because we're just making guesses. GTP picks actually uses real-time statistics and analytics to give their clients an edge over the sports book. They offer exclusive sports betting plays for all major sports, not just football, and they've been profitable year after year. The best part is they, at GTP Picks, have a Black Friday deal that is still currently going on. They were like, yo, Black Friday, we're going to just extend that for a whole week. Dirtballs, take advantage of this great deal. For just $99.99, Dirtballs get access to GTP's all-sports package through the end of 2019. So that's for the rest of the year. This package includes plays from NFL, NBA, college football, college basketball, NHL, and EPL. Yeah, a little soccer in there. The retail value of this package is $250, and you get it for just $99.99. So go visit gtppicks.com to unlock the exclusive Black Friday deal and bet with the best. If you like making money while watching sports, investing with GTP Picks is a no-brainer. Once again, that's gtppicks.com. Okay, Joe, let's mow through these.
And I know Tug asked, and since you mentioned it, what people also should be listening to in terms of GTP picks. Tug was like, how's Joe's picks doing on Instagram? And the answer is not good. I haven't won a lot, but I have done some, because he asked, I did some deep research, and I went back and worked all of my picks. And here's a fun fact for you. If you've bet all Joe Prano's picks this year on Instagram, you have lost money. If you have bet only Joe Prano money lines, you're up, and you're up actually a good chunk of money. So at this point, I'm just sticking with Joey No Chill's money line picks of the week. From here on out, it's all money lines all the time. There might not be 3, but there will just be confident money lines every week.
All righty. We start with the Cowboys traveling to Chicago to face the Bears. Tonight's game. The boys.
How do you feel about your Cowboys Super Bowl pick at this point?
I do not feel good at all.
No.
In fact,
are you prepared to say that they will not win the Super Bowl?
I said they would make it.
Okay.
I am not prepared to fully say that.
You're not prepared to fully say the Cowboys will not make the Super Bowl?
I am prepared.
Can you imagine if the Cowboys are the first team to make the Super Bowl with a losing record? That would be some shit.
Well, they're not going to have a losing record.
Are you sure?
I don't think so. I'll give the Cowboys a 3% chance of making the Super Bowl. And I will give them a big chance of winning tonight's game in Chicago. I will say the Dallas Cowboys even with Jerry Jones as their owner, will win and cover tonight.
And I not doing this just to go against Andy Ruther, although it is helpful that I'm doing it. I will take the Bears to at least cover in this game. Cowboys aren't good. Bears aren't good either, but at least the Bears have looked okay recently. Cowboys have not looked okay recently. Cowboys have looked bad. NFC, it's what's making me most sad about the state of the New York Giants is we're out of it in Week 14, and every team in the division fucking sucks.
Yeah.
The Redskins are not officially eliminated from playoff contention yet.
I know.
That's a joke.
Yeah. All right. The Battle of Ohio. Oh, yeah. This one hits home for me. I'm wearing my 513 shirt today, my Reds hat. It really hits home for me. The Bengals travel to Cleveland, where they are 7.5-point underdogs, coming off their first win of the season against the Jets in front of a capacity crowd of 14 people at Paul Brown Stadium. I am going to ride that Bengals train and say they cover the spread. It's a rivalry game. I know it's two teams that don't really matter. I think the Bengals keep it close.
Yeah, I mean, I think Andy Dalton's got something to prove. Andy Dalton wants to prove that he could come in and be your Ryan Tannehill on a good team. Twerks, let me ask you something. Since the Titans are, do you believe Andy Dalton could be doing what Ryan Tannehill is doing for the Tennessee Titans?
I think it's kind of a wash. I would see more interceptions if Dalton was in there, like more turnovers that could be costly. So I don't know if they have as many wins.
But you're basing this again on Andy Dalton's history with the Bengals.
Well, just more of like his style of play. I mean,
yeah.
I feel
Ryan
like
Tannehill wasn't exactly a not turning the ball over guy in Miami.
I'd agree with Twerks, though. I think Andy Dalton's more injury prone more turnover prone. And let's not forget the talent that Andy Dalton had.
Yeah.
We have seen him with wildly stacked offenses. The guy can't win a game when it matters. And we don't know about Ryan Tannehill because Ryan Tannehill probably hasn't. Ryan Tannehill's probably never played in a playoff game.
I don't believe so.
They made the playoffs that one year when Moore was their quarterback. So you're going Bengals as well?
I'm going Bengals as well, yeah.
Okay. All right, Ravens-Bills. Get ready, everybody. Get ready for your Andy Ruther upset pick of the week. The Buffalo Bills. They're winning me over. I like what they're defensively. They are stacked. Josh Allen is playing well. He's got a beautiful girlfriend, mom, who Aaron knows her. This is so funny. Did you saw how this all played out on social media, right?
Yeah, this is so weird for me because I'm friends with his girlfriend. We went to school together, like our entire life, and we're like, in the Greek system, you have like family and stuff like that. She's part of my like Greek system family and stuff.
What's his girlfriend's name? Josh Allen's girlfriend's name?
Her name's Brittany.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys saw it play out on Thanksgiving. They panned to the crowd, and I thought it was Josh Allen's mom, but it's his girlfriend Brittany's mom. And I put that on social media, and then they responded, or she ended up responding, like, dude, that's my mom. And I thought it was the sister. I couldn't figure out. I was Googling during the Thanksgiving game, who is this? But regardless, they got good genes in that family, good-looking people. I think the Bills win. They are 5.5-point underdogs. I know the Ravens are playing better than any team in the NFL right now. And I know Lamar Jackson is currently the MVP. I don't care. I think this is a game that they stumble. I'm going with the Bills. And to be honest, I'm a little offended that they're 5.5 dogs at home. No respect.
Cool story. I'm taking the Ravens. I'm done betting against the Ravens. I actually do like the Bills, too. I think Josh Allen has looked great. I think that he's certainly their quarterback of the future. He's proven that. I like the way the Bills have built their team around him. I like the style of play they're playing. But also, we talk about, the Bills' defense, the Bills' defense, the Bills' defense. We were doing that with the Patriots all year, too, right up until Lamar Jackson went in there and fucking ran all over them. I think that the Ravens are hot, and I think that the Ravens got a test last week where Lamar Jackson didn't play his best game, and they still managed to pull out a win. And now I think that they come out and they just look. I think everybody is riding high on this Bills train, and I think that the Bills are a playoff team, and I think that that's great, and they're certainly building something. But I'm going to take the Ravens to cover.
No way. No way, Jose. That's your name, right?
Yeah, in Spanish, I guess.
Yeah. See what I did there? Panthers, Falcons. Okay. No one cares about this game. Falcons are 3-point favorites in Atlanta. Hopefully Matt Ryan is still alive because that stiff arm that he received on Thanksgiving was one of the favorite moments I've ever seen watching a football game. Not only does he throw an interception to a D lineman, he shoves him to the ground. I see Prano over there is looking at a Ryan Tannehill.
Well, here's what I just want to bring this up since I always like to give perspective and context, and I think this is what people love to do all the time, and they love to say, "Oh, look at how good Ryan Tannehill is playing, and look at how good." And when you look at it, okay, and through 6 seasons, which is Ryan Tannehill's been in so far, 7 seasons, but through their first, this would be 93 games for Dalton and 96 games for Tannehill.
Let me guess.
Yeah.
I bet Andy Dalton's numbers are way better. He's had way better players.
No, they're not.
They're not.
Through 96 and 93 games, 93 for Dalton and 96 for Tannehill. So this is the start of his career. Completion percentage, Dalton 62.7, Tannehill 63.4. TDs, Dalton's 142, Tannehill 135. Rating, Dalton 89.1, Tannehill 88.6. Interceptions, Dalton 81, Ryan Tannehill 79. Sacks, Dalton 181, and obviously Tannehill on the Dolphins 272. Yards per attempt 7.3 to 7.1. It's like, I mean, it's a fucking Spider-Man meme. That's what we're looking at here.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
At all. But fuck Andy Dalton, right?
Look, fuck Andy Dalton. Yeah, like I don't believe I believe that Andy Dalton could be on this Tennessee Titans team and be 5-1, and I believe that Andy Dalton on this Tennessee Titans team gives me no confidence that they can beat 4 consecutive real playoff teams to get to or by any means win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'm not saying that Dalton couldn't because
we've seen Dalton start super hot with the Bengals.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We've seen it.
Yeah, just want to put everything into perspective for some people. For the guys out there who are like, Prano, suck my dick if you think the fucking Titans would want Phillip Rivers over GOAT Tannehill right now. Well, would you want him over Andy Dalton? Moving forward, for one season next year, Phillip Rivers or Andy Dalton? Who you got? Phillip Rivers, 100% of the fucking population. But Tannehill, get the fuck out of here. Not GOAT Tannehill. Perspective's important.
I would take Dalton over Rivers.
You would?
Yeah.
For one season next year?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, Aaron.
I would take Dalton over Rivers.
Aaron.
I would.
What?
I think if you put Andy Dalton on that Chargers team, they'd have more wins than they do right now with Phillip Rivers. Have you been watching the Chargers games this year?
I watched every game.
Rivers has cost them like the majority of their games. I don't think Dalton makes that many fuck ups like Rivers does. Especially this season. I mean, this season is all time bad. All time bad Phillip Rivers.
Dude, I don't think you've watched Andy Dalton.
Well, he hasn't played that much this year.
I'm not talking about this year. I'm talking his
That's
whole
right.
career.
He got benched for who?
He got benched for Ryan Finley.
I mean, I know Andy Dalton's had his problems. I'm just saying where they're at. I mean, and that's just because that's just how bad Phillip Rivers has been this year. That's what it is.
You said you think the Chargers have more wins with Andy Dalton over Phillip Rivers.
Like him say that to Merriman.
I mean, that's just how bad he's been this year. Have you seen him?
Merriman just pulled up, actually.
Yeah.
Good luck. You're going to die.
Put fucking twerks lights out.
Yeah, he's going to do that lights out dance all over your face, bro. That's. I'll be honest, maybe your worst take of all time.
Rivers has been bad. That's just what it is.
Also, the Chargers have been bad, and Rivers has tried to make a bad Chargers team
He's forcing the
better,
ball.
and he's forcing it, and it hasn't worked. And I like.
And I'm not saying that Andy Dalton wouldn't force the ball, or I think Andy Dalton will force the ball too. But to say that the Chargers are pretty wild. I don't know if it was the Ringer. Somebody did an article.
How they lose games?
Yeah, was it the Ringer?
I don't know. But
Yeah. And it wasn't just this year.
Yeah. No.
They did like a deep. It was the Ringer, I'm pretty sure. They did a deep dive on Phillip Rivers since he entered the league. It didn't matter whether it was under Marty Schottenheimer, Norv Turner, Anthony Lynn, who was the one coach, McCoy.
Right.
Every coach he's had, the Chargers are like always in games and they lose.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest, Aaron, like that one stung a little. I've witnessed firsthand, ironically, against the Chargers in Andy Dalton playoff game when the Bengals had a 7-3 halftime lead in cold, rainy January Cincinnati, like 30 degrees out, miserable weather.
I mean, if you look at Rivers last year versus this year, like he had 12 picks last year. He's got 15 picks this year. He's been bad this year at turning the ball over, but all in all, I mean, I know we have a couple more weeks in the season, but really the difference is he had 32 touchdowns last year to 12 picks, and he has 17 this year. It's like he's forcing the ball, but the Chargers are also bad, and that's why it's all about context of the situation that they're playing in.
And maybe I haven't watched enough Andy Dalton to where I should.
No, don't.
So I don't feel like as negatively towards Dalton as I should. But this is solely based on when the game's on the line, Rivers just completely crumbles. Like he makes the worst decisions I've ever seen.
But that's just this year. That's what Andy Dalton's known for too, dude.
I know, but Rivers,
No, I don't think you realize. You can start Googling this shit. Andy Dalton's never won a Monday Night Football game. His record in prime time is one of the worst ever. He's 0-5 in the playoffs. Andy Dalton is notorious.
And if you were Andy 1 of 1, you could show his stats versus Peyton Manning through 5 seasons. They're identical. Because that's fucking context.
All right, let's get through these games. We got to wrap up this show.
Yeah, let's do it.
Panthers, Falcons, Joe. Who do you got?
I got the Falcons. I just think that they're playing to, I don't know, maybe save Quinn's job or something, and that they've been playing better. And they were in the game last week against the Saints. They were sort of in. I mean, it came down to a final possession. They recovered a couple onside kicks to make it closer than it really should have been. But the Panthers just haven't been good. Panthers also are the new Falcons for me. They've burned me every which way I fucking take them. So, but I'm going to take the Falcons because they're at home.
But do the Panthers play with a renewed vigor with a new coach? R.I.P. Riverboat Ron.
Yeah, Ron Rivera to me overrated. I think a lot of people like him as a coach, and he seems like an okay guy, but just they have had opportunities to win. He hasn't been that good, and people are acting like this is some sort of atrocity that the guy was fired.
I don't hate it. I don't think he was bad though. I mean, look, he won 3 divisions.
Who is their interim head coach?
It's the defensive back coach. I forget his name.
Is it Perry Fewell?
Yeah,
former Giants
coach
and complete boob. I'm going to take the Atlanta Falcons.
All right, I'm going to go Falcons as well. All right, Redskins, Packers, 12.5-point Packers faves in Lambeau. It's a big spread. The Redskins keep burning me. They keep covering.
Yeah.
It's a big spread. Packers looked good last week against your Giants. I'm going Packers.
I'm going to take the Packers as well. It is a big spread, and it screams Redskins cover. But the fact that it's in Green Bay, and also the fact that people are talking about the Redskins are not officially eliminated, I think they get eliminated in glorious fashion this week. They get blowed the fuck out.
Now, a team that's done good for me recently, the Broncos, are 9-point dogs headed to Houston. Texans coming off a big win. They absolutely destroyed the Patriots. They're 9-point favorites. I'm just not going to bet against them at this point. I'm going Broncos to cover.
I'm going to take the Texans just to go against you, and also because the Broncos have been – I was the one who brought it up. The Broncos play pretty much every game close, but I feel like the Texans want to make a statement that they are contenders. Even though with Bill O'Brien, I don't think they are. I think that they're going to do something late in the season where people are going to be like, watch out for that Texans team come playoff time, and I'm going to bet my house against them in pretty much any playoff matchup with few exceptions, although I guess there's a chance that they could play certain teams that I'd pick them in. But I'll bet against them in the second round of the playoffs, focusing against everybody.
We got a lot of different picks this week so far. We're not even halfway through. I love it. I could officially put that nail in the coffin, Prano. Lions, Vikings. Vikings had a tough loss. They had a great comeback against the Seahawks, but they fell short. 12.5-point favorites at home against the Lions. I don't even know who's playing quarterback at this point. Is it Blow? Is it the same guy? Matt Blow? Vikings are 12.5. What's the situation with Dalvin Cook?
Out? Playing?
Yeah, when I last checked, it said he was playing. He had he got hit hard. He had that shoulder injury, but he told reporters that he's definitely playing this week. I'll check his status right now. The Lions quarterback is David Bluff. I don't know how you pronounce that.
Pablow.
Yeah.
David Pablow. Torture, motherfucker.
I'm going Vikings.
I'm going Vikings as well. I think the Vikings, coming off a loss, have to get back on track, and I think they do it against the backup.
All right, 49ers, Saints. Ooh, good one here. Who do we got in this game? Serious playoff implications here.
Yeah.
Both teams are at 10-2.
Well, let me start. I think that the Saints have just looked so goddamn good that they're due for a gut check. I think the Niners, coming off that loss, that they need this win to stay in the NFC West hunt. I think the Niners might win this game, so I'm going to take them to cover.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you're saying. I mean, the Niners lose this, they end the season in Seattle. They've already lost to Seattle.
Yeah. I just think that game in Seattle that ends the year is going to come down to the NFC West Championship, and I think that the way that does that is that the Niners have to win, basically win out till they get there, and I think it's just all dialed up for that to happen. And I don't I don't have a ton of confidence in the 49ers picking this game. I do a confidence pool, and I pick the Niners to win, but I think I put 2 or 3 points on them. But I do like their chances, and I just think the Saints. I think the Saints are one of the class teams in the league right now, but I just don't. I actually don't even know if it's in their benefit for them to win out. I think you need that gut check game, and I think that they're going to get one. I think all good teams get one at some point, and I think they get it here against the Niners.
I'm going to disagree, though, now that I've thought about it. I like New Orleans to win and cover. And I think the Niners might finish the season about 12-4. All right, Dolphins, Jets. The Jets are a 5.5-point favorite at home. I'm going Fitz magic, baby.
Fitz revenge game. Kyle Aronofsky, shout out to Kyle, came out to a show I did at the Mayo Performing Arts Center in Jersey, as well as multiple other dirtballs. So many names, but two of the guys who we met in Cincinnati who came up from D.C., the D.C. dirtball crowd that came to Cincinnati, they came out. I want to say one of those guys' names is John and something else. Shout out to those dudes who came out. Austin O'Neill came out. Dan Dole came out. Austin's buddy from Philly area, Scott, I believe is his name, came out. So shout out to all the crew that came out to the Performing Arts Center. But Kyle Aronofsky, Tom's River's own, showed me the spot on his leg where he'll have to get Fitzpatrick tattooed on him if a Jets quarterback doesn't win 10 games in the next 6 seasons.
So you're going Fitz.
I'm going Fitz revenge game.
All right, this game, this is a great one. The Jameis 1-of-1 versus the Brisket 1-of-1. The Bucs are 3-point favorites at home against the Colts. I can't go against Jacoby Brissett. I'm going Colts, baby.
Going Colts, huh? Now let me ask you something. I'm going to go Colts here to cover as well. This line has gone up. I was liking Bucs -2, Bucs -2.5, 3. I'm like, I'm not sure how I feel about that. The public being all on the Bucs scares me. I hate riding Jameis, but Do you think the Colts win this game?
Yes,
You think the Colts win this game?
I do.
Okay. I actually think that the Colts are going to have a hard time keeping up with the Jameis, I think the Bucs score a lot of points.
They do, but
I
think
I don't think the Colts can keep up with it, but I think it is going to be a close game.
Let me get my crystal ball. I'm predicting something.
I'm going to take the Colts as well, but I don't think the Colts win this game.
I am predicting a Jameis Winston turnover, which leads to a touchdown, either a fumble or a pick six. And I think that will be the difference in that game. And I posted this on Dirty Sports Twitter, and I'm assuming you saw. Looks like Bruce Arians might be turning the leaf a little.
Yeah, and I think I don't want to say you're welcome, Bucs fans, but I mean I think we've put a lot of pressure on Bruce Arians as a podcast. I think not a lot of people are talking about Bruce Arians' press conferences,
but we are.
But we are, and we are the sole, Jameis
truthers,
Jason Light, Bruce Arians truthers. They have put it out there that Bruce Arians was brought in to fix Jameis, and that's fine. And they've been open about it. But what they haven't been open about is how much of the Jason Light, Jameis, Bruce Arians trifecta, three-headed monster, why this conspiracy, why they feel the need that they have to protect him. And now we have started talking, and Bruce Arians is basically going, okay, I'm caught. Whether he believes it or not, he has to publicly step back from Jameis because we have exposed him, and I'm excited about it. And good for Bruce Arians, whatever the reason is, for stepping back from a guy who hasn't won you a lot of football games, who's been a turnover fucking machine, and who should not be the quarterback of the Bucs going forward.
We didn't even say what he said, because I'm sure nobody saw it, because nobody cares about the Bucs. Bruce Arians was asked yesterday in a post-practice press conference if Jameis will be the quarterback beyond 2019. He didn't want to answer it, but he also said they haven't made any decisions.
Right.
Where in the past he was saying Jameis is our guy, and then he said Jameis makes a lot of great plays and a lot of bad plays, which we've said all year.
Yeah.
It's feast or famine.
Yeah, and also he's due for a contract, so that's a big thing.
Yeah.
There are lunatics out there who think Jameis Winston is a Hall of Famer who could demand all kinds of money. If you're the kind of person that was like, oh, Jared Goff deserved this money, Dak Prescott deserves this money, everybody was on the Dak Prescott should get $40 million after 3 weeks in the season. If you think Jameis Winston should get $30 million to play quarterback, you should absolutely, positively find a way to make it so that blood stops pumping hard to your brain. And by that, I mean kill yourself.
I'll tell you what. I can't wait to see where Jameis is in 3 years. What do they say? What's the saying about revenge?
The XFL. And he's their poster boy.
What's he say about revenge?
A dish best served cold?
I mean, guys, obviously you're aware of what has happened with us this year. Can you imagine writing a 400-page book about somebody that won't be in the NFL in 5 years? Or as a backup?
Yeah. I mean, make sure you also buy his copy, Josh Freeman 1 of 1.
From one sad scene to another sad scene, Joe. The Chargers travel to Jacksonville. Although Minshew Mania, it's back.
Now, before we move on to that, can we? I know we've taken our shots at Jameis. We both took the Colts in this game. Are you still on the Colts are going to the playoffs and are going to win a playoff game like they did with Andrew Luck last year? Because there was one point where you're like, I mean, at this point, what are we talking about? If they do that, they're just as successful as they were with Andrew Luck.
I did say that. They would be just as successful. Obviously, my confidence is been taking some holes, taking some body shots. Colts have not looked well, have not played it together as a team. Brissett has had a few bad games. He needs to step it up for sure. If you had
I guess
if you had a gun to my head,
are the Colts making the playoffs?
If you had a gun to my head right now, I would say no.
How about no gun to your head? How about just casual question? Colts make the playoffs?
No.
Okay. Colts finish with what record?
8-8.
So not really embarrassing you predicted them to win 6 or 7 games.
You're just trying to cover yourself. No. It's, that wouldn't be bad. That wouldn't be bad if they won 8 games. If they had 500. All right.
You're going to win 13 games. You're going to have to suck a dude's dick.
Minshew is back.
Minshew mania.
The Jags have a problem, though.
Now, did you send me the article? You sent me the Nick Foles article? Who sent me the Nick Foles article? You sent it, didn't you?
It's on the rundown.
Oh, it's on the rundown. Okay. So now we got to do these 2 back-to-back because it's Colts, and now we're going into the Jags game.
As far as what?
The article basically says that the Colts should trade for Nick Foles.
Oh, yeah. Well, the article was interesting. Let me
the article that you sent me essentially describes why with the Colts salary cap situation and the Jags wanting to relieve themselves of this Nick Foles contract should be the team that trades for him. And remarkably, what the article doesn't go into, and you should definitely tell people where this article came from and so that they can read it themselves, because I don't want to break down the salary cap situation for everybody here.
It's from For the Win USA Today.
But what the article doesn't mention, and I don't know how somebody writes a Nick Foles to the Colts article without mentioning he won the Super Bowl with Frank Reich. Doesn't even talk about that.
Well, this is what it says. So, if anybody doesn't follow this, Nick Foles is guaranteed $15.1 million next year in a base salary. He gets an additional $5 million if he's on the roster. But if they cut him, they still look. I'm not going to get into all the financial stuff.
Read the article. It's For the Win, USA Today, and it says why basically nobody in football should want Nick Foles in his contract except the Colts because they need to spend money. And
yes.
they're just gonna have salary cap money that is just sitting there unused.
It's an interesting
and
article.
They should use it on Nick Foles because they can acquire draft picks in taking on his contract. They could also acquire draft picks. But again, it doesn't mention the fact that Frank Reich won a Super Bowl with Nick Foles.
So if the Jags cut Nick Foles, they have to eat $33.8 million. That's all the dead money. But basically, the article, again, it's USA Today For the Win. It's a good article. What it's saying is it's kind of similar to what it's Moneyball, what the Browns did with Brock Osweiler. Remember when they traded for Brock Osweiler and everybody made fun of him?
Yeah.
But they turned
cut him.
They turned that into they got a second-round pick from the Texans, and then they cut him. Yeah.
And if you're sitting there going, but like, look, Josie Brissett, look at what he's done this year as compared to what Nick Foles has done this year. Remember, context matters. 2 years ago, Jacoby Brissett went, 2 and 14, 3 and 13, and looked awful. And
I think 4 and 11.
And Nick Foles was winning Super Bowls. So, again, context matters, being on good teams versus being on bad teams.
Yeah.
And we were both calling for the Philadelphia Eagles to keep Nick Foles. What we should have been calling for is the Philadelphia Eagles to keep Frank Reich because it doesn't seem to matter who the fuck Philadelphia Eagles keep at quarterback. All those people look bad with fucking old empty visor over there, Doug Peterson, now that his offensive mastermind is gone.
Well, the Chargers are a debacle too, but for different reasons. Look, I think
they don't have Andy Dalton at quarterback, according to Twerks.
Unreal take. I have to share with the listeners, Joe, what's happening with this Chargers party.
Yeah.
I mean, this is wild. So I get an email. As you guys know, I've discussed getting season tickets for the God, I almost said San Diego Chargers, for the LA Chargers. So I get an email with my contact at the Chargers. He's a nice guy. And he said, hey, we're doing a VIP watch party Sunday for the Jags game. Basically, I'll give him this. This is smart for the Chargers. They're trying to butter up people like me who.
And it's happening at the new stadium?
No. It's happening. They have like in Playa, so close by here, in Playa del Rey, they have like an office or like a big center where people can go for Chargers tickets.
Yep. So
he sends me an email this week, and he says we're doing a big party for the Jags game. You know, free food, free booze. We can set up for you to see the seats of SoFi Stadium. That's a new stadium. All this stuff. So he says in the email for the Jags game, December 18th. So I screenshot it and I sent it to Prano and Tug, and I said, look, dude, we can go to this. It'd be kind of fun, and we can maybe then get season tickets and kind of see. So I sent it to Prano and Tug. Prano writes me back, dude, December 18th is a Wednesday. The game is December 8th. And I'm like, oh, my God. So I write the dude back. I wrote, you have the wrong date. And he's like, wow, okay, yeah, this is not good. So I'm thinking this is not a good look. You're sending out the wrong date. And then it gets worse.
Because I was like, I'd like to go just to see what kind of debacle this is.
Yeah.
But then I didn't realize it was this weekend.
Yeah, so it's this weekend. So that happens on Monday. And then I get an email. But I still, at that point, I had already RSVP'd. Like, you have to put your name down. And he goes, are you bringing any friends? Like, Aaron, I put your name down too. I just put down people's names who might want to go before I knew it was this Sunday. So then I get an email back from LA Chargers, SoFi Stadium, the next day. You're confirmed for our VIP watch party November 18th against the Jaguars.
And it's like, dude, you didn't have the wrong month. You had the wrong number.
So this is a different email.
Did you reply, you've got the wrong month?
Yeah.
And the wrong day now? Because the 18th is still a Wednesday.
I wrote back.
And November 18th. Well, I got to tell you, let me say one thing about the Los Angeles Chargers. If they put you in a time machine and take you back to November, I'm getting season tickets.
Yeah.
Like, if they have time travel ability to go back to November 18th.
You know what November 18th was? That was the Monday Night Football game against the Chiefs in Mexico.
Yeah.
So they're now, and I wrote her back. That was a different person, Chargers. I wrote, you're sending out a mass email to God knows how many people saying you're confirmed for a November 18th Chargers-Jags game.
And if they even if they can do the math in their head and go, they mean December, the 18th is still a Wednesday.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. This is why I said to you, hey, I know you're thinking about getting Chargers season, but you're basically signing up to give money over to what has been a debacle of a franchise that has mismanaged their exit from San Diego. Now they're mismanaging dates, times, emails. I'm just saying you're kind of signing up to tie yourself to a team that is a debacle, where I'm like over here going, Raiders.
Yeah, but here's my take, Joe. I'm going to show up to wherever. I probably can't make this viewing party. But
it's on a Sunday now, it turns out.
Yeah. and I actually, one of my college buddies is coming in town Sunday. But I think I have a move here. We tell the Chargers, hey, man, we'll get season tickets. Make them the official team of Dirty Sports. We want full access to the stadium and players.
Wow. It's a hot take.
What do you think about that Andy Ruther power play?
Yeah. Good luck with that.
I want full access to Phillip Rivers' bolo ties. And then I want to bring in Phillip Rivers to the Smut Studio and have Aaron say to his face that Andy Dalton is better. How does that make you feel, Twerks?
I think it'd be fun. I just need to clarify something, though. I didn't say Andy Dalton is better. I said Andy Dalton on
wins
the Chargers
more
this
games
year
on this Chargers
would
team.
win more games this season for the Chargers.
Still a terrible take.
He's on a team. They've won less games, and he got benched.
Because the Bengals, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. So.
All right, let's get through. Jesus Christ, let's get through these picks. Who do we have in this game, though?
I'm taking Andy Dalton and the Chargers to win and cover. Phillip Fudgin' Rivers and the Chargers to win and cover. Minshew Mania? That died. That was mean. That was shorter than Linsanity.
I'll take Chargers, too. I don't want to go against them. You know, I'm going to have season tickets next year, so got to go with the Chargers. All right, Chiefs-Pats. Fun game we have here. The Pats are 3-point favorite, Joe. What do you got?
I'm taking the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs win this game. Pats can't keep Pats offense is not looking good at all. I think that the Pats have struggled to beat teams where the offenses are pretty good because they struggle to score a lot of points. I think the Chiefs, even on their worst days, are going to put up 25 to 28 points. I'm going to take the Chiefs.
I agree. I was thinking that all week. I'm taking the Chiefs, even though it's in Foxborough. And if you're a Patriots fan, you need Antonio Brown. You need Josh Gordon. Why do they let those guys go?
Well, they got Sanu.
Sanu's doing nothing for them. Just saying. Sign Antonio Brown. I do not want to shove that L chain up my ass. Sign AB. All right, the Steelers travel to Phoenix They're 2.5-point favorites against the Cards. I'm going Steelers.
I think I'm going Cards. I kind of like the Cards in this game because it's at home. The Steelers have been good. Are the Steelers technically a playoff team right now?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't see the Steelers making the playoffs. I'm going to say that right now. I don't think the Duck gets it done. I think the Steelers end up missing the playoffs, and I think they do that because I think they go on a bit of a I think they start to poop the bed a little bit down the stretch here, and I think it starts maybe with this Cards winning. Yeah, I'm going to take the Cards.
All right. The Titans. Oh, it's so fitting that the Titans are playing
The Raiders.
the Raiders. The Titans are 2.5-point favorites in Oakland. Aaron's going to be tested now with his loyalty.
Aaron, who do you got in this game?
Titans 100%.
Titans
to win and cover.
Yeah, the Titans going to win by. They're definitely going to cover. Lock of the year. Put money down. Titans. We'll beat the Raiders.
I'm with Aaron. I got Andy Dalton, Phillip Rivers, and the Titans. Ryan Tannehill. I've got Ryan Tannehill on the Titans.
I got the Titans too. All right, Sunday Night Football. It's currently even in Caesars. It's -1 and a lot for the Rams.
It's an interesting game, huh? You're thinking about going?
Thinking about going Sunday night. Thinking about going. It's a tough one. Seahawks are looking. Dude, here's my thing on the Seahawks. Everyone's like nobody worries about them. Here's why everybody should worry about them. 2 reasons. My boy Russ, he has experience.
Wait, nobody worries about them, meaning what?
Nobody's talking about them like making a Super Bowl run.
Right.
Nobody is. They're just like, oh, they're cool. They're 10-2. Dude, you can't undervalue a quarterback who's played in the playoffs and a coach who's exceeded in the playoffs. I just think that's, to me, those are the 2 factors that are being undervalued for the Seahawks. I'm not saying the Seahawks are going to the Super Bowl, and maybe they could be, as Tug calls, paper tigers. But I think those things are undervalued when you have a coach and a quarterback who've been together for 8 years, and they've made the playoffs 7 of those 8 years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think the Seahawks win. The Rams looked great last week. They looked amazing. They also were playing the Cardinals.
So right now, Seattle's the 2. So right now, if the season ended today, the Seahawks would get a bye, and they would get – I mean, you would have a 3, 4, 5, 6 of Green Bay, Dallas, San Francisco, Minnesota. You know, you would essentially most likely have a San Francisco team in Seattle in a game 2, which obviously anybody can win that game. I like Seattle to beat Dallas or Minnesota because I don't like Kirk Cousins to win 1 playoff game, let alone 2. But they wouldn't draw Green Bay. If Green Bay won, they would be the higher seed. Actually, I guess they could. They could draw Green Bay. I wouldn't love that. I wouldn't love their chances against Green Bay. I know that would be a battle of Tugs, Paper Tigers. But just because of the situation being that it's a division game, a San Francisco-Seattle game, and Seattle could go anybody's way. I actually like San Francisco better than I like Seattle, even though Seattle beat them. But I just don't see them then getting through a New Orleans team, especially if they had to go on the road and play in New Orleans. But certainly draw-wise and the way it can match up, you couldn't count them out.
I think they know the Seahawks have to get home field advantage. I think they win this game. I think it's a good low-scoring game. They're going to run the ball a lot. They're going to try to eat up the clock.
My question is, why are the Rams favored?
Well, it's even here.
Right, but the Rams are favored in some places.
At -1.
Why? Because they're home?
Because they're home. Now, don't forget, Seattle struggles in L.A.
I know they do. That's the only thing that's giving me.
Even when the Rams weren't good, Seattle always struggles out here.
I think the Seahawks win this game too.
And I think, like you said, I think it
But
all.
you know what? Also, like, are the Seahawks going 14-2 or 13-3? I'm gonna take the Rams. Change me, Twerks. I don't like this pick, but
I
whatever.
think
I've got to fade. I've got to fade you a little bit.
I think they are going 13-3.
And then you go ahead and pencil me in for the Giants right now. 9.5. I don't care if Ruther's playing quarterback. The Eagles are a 9.5 point favorite against who? Where? How? What? The Eagles are not good.
They aren't good. But I want to fade you.
Great. Give Ruther that Eagles team.
I don't trust the Eagles at all, but for the sake of the show.
And you want to bet on the game, you said. Didn't you say that going on with the spread and everything?
We haven't paid up on a lot of our bets though. That's the problem here. I mean, you still owe me for the Seahawks winning 10 games last year.
Wait, sushi?
I think it was $100. But then I figured I'm gonna lose the Brandon Cooks bet, so then it's down to 50. And then there's a sushi bet, but I think you and Tug also have a sushi bet. Can someone keep track? Didn't someone create a Twitter feed for a minute and then just did nothing?
Yeah.
Classic dirtball move. I'll take the Eagles, though. Are you going to be here or are you going to be in Mexico?
I think I'll be in Mexico. Unfortunately, or else I'd say we should call that game.
Yeah.
The return of Eli. Who, by the way, I'm not counting on Eli showing out in this game at all because the Giants still fucking suck.
Eli's 1-9 in his last 10 games against the Eagles.
The Giants have been bad and the Eagles have been good. And the Eagles are not good now. Giants are still bad, though.
I just don't think the Giants can score enough points. All right, that is our Week 14 picks. We made it. Sorry, I know we keep not getting to calls. The hotline is 310-359.
How far into the show are we?
2 hours.
You got one good one in
No,
there?
we don't have time. Sorry.
Okay.
The hotline, 310-359-8365. Plus, you have a lunch.
Yeah, in half an hour, a block away from here. Let's go. Sure, whatever. I want to do another shout-out. I know I shouted out a bunch of the dirtballs who came out to Jersey. Shout-out to all the dirtballs who came to shows in Tahoe, that came to shows in New York. Shout-out to the #1 China defeating dirtball Alex Bresler, who came to the stand on Tuesday night. Special shout-out, I mentioned Austin, who came to New Jersey. I forgot to bring it. It's packed in my suitcase, which I haven't had a chance to unpack yet because I just got home yesterday. He got us a Tiger Woods bobblehead, a Tiger Woods, a child Tiger Woods bobblehead, but it's Tiger Woods as a child golfing.
Bro, the bobblehead. We need a bigger shelf.
We're gonna need a bigger boat.
Have you seen what else I got? So my mom sent me.
So shout out to Austin for the Tiger Woods bobblehead.
My mom sent me a Joe Morgan.
I feel like instead of getting a bigger shelf, I could sell that childish Tiger Woods bobblehead to Tug Coker for $1,000. But
shots fired. My mom sent me a Joe Morgan and Tony Perez bobblehead. The mayor for my birthday gave me his Fernando Valenzuela bobblehead. Now we have 4 new bobbleheads.
I think we need another shelf right up above this gap here for some bobbleheads.
Well, just so you know, we're going to do a little before next year. I want to do a little remodel.
Okay.
Change the decoration scene up a little. Guys, follow us on Instagram and Twitter at The Dirty Sports. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Drop an iTunes review. And if you leave your Twitter or Instagram handle, I will send out koozies. I sent out 10 koozies on Monday morning. So, also real quick, guys, when I want you to leave your handles, because I want to know who listens to the show. I follow back anybody who leaves their Twitter or Instagram handle. So I like to know who leaves the show, or who follows the show. So do that.
At Fix Your Life on Twitter, if you want to apologize for Josie Brisket. At
what is somebody
Joe
apologizing? You're out of your mind.
I mean, they're in third place.
Yeah, there's 4 games left.
Okay.
There's 4 games left. A quarter of the season is left. Apologize. God, you need to apologize about Eli. We got to wrap up this show.
At Joe Prano on Instagram. You should follow me there because that's where I also announce a lot of my shows coming up. And we've got shows coming up in Tahoe again soon. A lot of shows around L.A. Tahoe back in early January with Eddie Ift. Going to be in the Bay Area dates announced soon. Maybe get Andy Ruther back up there for another Bay Area visit. Aspen in February. Go to joeprano.com and check out my page. Even if I'm not saying places that you are, you should probably go check it out, because a lot of times I put things on there and I haven't mentioned them, and then you can be like, dude, why didn't you tell me you were going to be in New Jersey? It's like, hey, I told you a fucking 100 times. I also told you to check out joeprano.com. So go there and check it out. Support some live shows, and it's good to be back.
Follow me on Twitter at DSInterns and follow me on Instagram at Aaron Maharis.
There it is, guys. Just follow us on Instagram. Joe's right. It's all that matters. I don't even care about my personal. Just follow at The Dirty Sports. Okay, guys, that's the show. Great to have you back, Prano. We're thusting like a motherfucker. Guys, we're doing this. 2020 is right around the corner. Big things popping. All right, Dirtballs, have a great week.
Hey, before you drop the final line, I was just thinking, since we have a lot of bets out there, should we bet on just like the personal lines for Eli Manning and Josie Brisket this week? Do you think, should we do touchdowns, yards, completions?
We'll discuss off air.
Okay, great.
All right, guys. Have a great week. And most importantly, stay dirty.